Frankie, so it's been about 11 days since Kyle Dubas got cut loose by the Toronto Maple Leafs after things went really sour between he and Brendan Shanahan. There's been a lot of interest from the Pittsburgh Penguins. As a matter of fact, by all intents and purposes, it looks like he's their #1 choice on their list. Does that surprise you at all, the amount of appetite there is out there for this guy?
No, it really doesn't. And I would say that this notion that Kyle Dubas overplayed his hand and he got cut loose, well, it almost seemed like he kind of knew what he was doing because he had a certain demand to be the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Maybe that's not his demand elsewhere, and he knew that he would be courted by other teams around the league. And when you look at the job that Kyle Dubas did here in Toronto, similar to a lot of other general managers around the league, you're going to have some wins, you're going to have some losses. But the fact remains that he did as good of a job as you possibly could to build a team around the best players on his team and give them chances to win and surround them with different kinds of players. Year after year, it seemed like Kyle Dubas tried to evolve that team and got away from the ways maybe that we thought he was, right? We thought he was it's just going to be smaller guys. It's going to be skill. It's going to be speed. Yes, you need a little bit of that. But as the years went on, he tried to round out his team as best as he could. Ultimately, the team couldn't get it done. They only won one round during his time in Toronto. But there's no doubt that he's going to land somewhere soon enough, and it's going to be well-deserved. And
when he left a bunch of little stick-em notes on his desk about stuff that had to be done. Now, I'm being facetious, obviously. So they got to hire a new GM. They lost the lead assistant. There's no decision so far on Sheldon Keefe. Matthews, Marner, Nylander all have their no moves kick in on July the 1st. There are a number of very significant issues for whoever takes over that desk for Kyle Dubas.
Well, and that's the reason why you need to have someone in there very soon. Like you talk about, you just listed everything. Now you have the draft coming up. The #1 thing is you need to have your vision in place for your players so they can identify, okay, is this something I want to be around long term? Is this something I want to see through? And ultimately, if you lay it out for them, you have a player in Austin Matthews that sounds like he wants to be back. He wants to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. Then you have to cross that bridge with William.
That's so risky, though, Frankie. Yeah, you go into the season and you go, okay, so I like the new GM. He's a nice guy, but the Leafs come out of the gate. Maybe they struggle out because Joseph Wall's trying to work his way in. Samsonov's trying to come back from injury. They're trying to figure out what. If you get off to a slow start, now Austin Matthews says, you know what, it's not really that appealing here anymore, and there's nothing the Leafs can do about it.
Don't get off to a slow start, but don't let it get to that point. Learn, like if it's Brad Treliving, learn your lessons from years past where you let Johnny Gaudreau walk and Matthew Tkachuk said, hey, I'm out of here. Like, don't let it get to that point, and do everything you can to go to Austin Matthews and say, I want you here, but it can't be at 4 years. It can't, like, we need to find a way to keep you a little bit longer if that means a little more money, whatever the case may be. But Austin Matthews, when this franchise got Austin Matthews, it turned around. And if you were to lose Austin Matthews, it can go the other way for you.